What are the reasons for climate change? Can't we do anything to stop it? Almost majority of the population in a certain place somehow contribute in pollution, and about 16% of death cases are caused by pollution. Pollution has a very catastrophic effect in our environment. That is why a lot of reasons for climate change is caused by pollution. More importantly, the air pollution we emit and by the actions we do. The state of our ozone layer, which has been recovering since the phase out of the certain chemical that has been found in certain studies in the 1970s and 1980s research that revealed troubling signs about the state of our atmosphere. Second is the state of our air pollution, which plays a vital role in the effect it gives in our atmosphere and the environment. The chemical hydrofluorocarbons, most commonly known as HFCs, is a chemical that does not deplete the ozone layer but still is a powerful greenhouse gas that traps the heat instead of letting it out. Last is the temperature. As the years pass, little do we know that the temperature slowly rises as each year passes. The number of typhoons and their total destruction slowly rises with each rise of every number of temperature. The state of our ozone layer has a huge effect on the state of our environment and planet. Researchers show that certain chemicals have an awful effect in our atmosphere, especially the ozone layer. Since the local governments around the world are helping in finding an answer to the main problem, they have created movements in which the result is for the betterment of our environment. Because of this, the state of our atmosphere, specifically our ozone layer, has been slowly repairing since the movement of the worldwide ban of chemicals that has effects in our environment, especially in our atmosphere. One example is chlorofluorocarbon, which most commonly known as CFC, is mostly used in aerosol sprays and coolants in many refrigerators. As they reach the stratosphere, the sun's UV rays break down CFC into substances that include chlorine. One atom of chlorine can destroy more than 100,000 ozone molecules, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, eradicating ozone much more quickly than it can be replaced. Since it was found that the chemical CFC can damage the ozone layer, a certain movement was made for the benefit of the ozone layer, which was the Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer. Since this movement, the effects of the chemical drastically decreased because of the actions that the people did from the year 1987 until today's time. We can help in this matter by implementing this movement into our lives. We can do simple actions like saving, recycling, and reusing some so we do not add to the pollution of the world. The state of air pollution plays a vital role in the effects it gives in our atmosphere and environment. Even if a certain chemical does not have any harmful effects in our atmosphere, some might still have effects in our environment. One example is the chemical hydrofluorocarbon, which most commonly known as HFCs, is a chemical that does not deplete the ozone layer but still is a powerful greenhouse gas that traps the heat instead of letting it out. Since we now know that everything we send into the air has an effect, Dalton's law can be used to explain the relativity of every chemical or element that is present in our atmosphere. And what effect can it give, placing also into account the state of the temperature they are exposed to and why the heat of the environment increases as much as more gas is released into the air, which we view some as air pollution. As more gases are added in a constant volume, which in this case is our atmosphere, the gases become more compressed, which is why the pressure in the atmosphere increases. As the pressure in the atmosphere increases, no outside temperature enters the atmosphere. The work that is created by the molecules of the gas is turned into thermal energy, which is then experienced by us through the increase in temperature. Since the use of hydrochlorocarbons as a substitute for the harmful chemicals CFC, The greenhouse gas that covers the atmosphere increases, which results in the stability of thick greenhouse gas that helps in the blockage of some chemicals from going outside of our atmosphere. What can we do? We could decrease consumption and usage of unnecessary things that would cause more garbage, which have harmful effects in our atmosphere and environment. The temperature we experience today may not be the same tomorrow or the coming days, we cannot be sure. But the only thing that is sure is as the days slowly pass, the temperature in the earth slowly increases. Based on the research that I have conducted, the average and maximum temperature increases in the Philippines alone, which for the average is 24 degrees Celsius up to 30 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is 27 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius, which has increased from the year 2000 up to 2018. If we don't change our action, by my calculation, by the year 2030, a lot of destruction would be experienced by the later generation because of the temperature increase in the Philippines alone. What more if the extreme temperature would also rise in some countries that are more scourging because of the heat now? What are the factors that also help in the increase of temperature? Besides the human activities that we do every day, we could also count the own heat that the earth itself releases. This would also add to the temperature that would become trapped in the atmosphere instead of going into space. Another factor are the ultraviolet rays that the sun emits. Since our ozone layer is thin, the UV rays easily penetrate the ozone layer. After hitting the surface of the earth, the UV rays, instead of going out of our atmosphere, it bounces off the greenhouse gases, which causes it to hit the surface of the earth again, and so on and so forth. As we can see, the greenhouse gas effect is a nasty little business that must be answered for the good of our planet. The temperature we experience has a very nasty effect on our oceans. Also, if the temperature will continue to rise, the surface of the ocean would continue to evaporate, and this would result in the formations of many low pressure areas or LPA that is experienced by every country. But if the number of LPA were to increase because of the increase of evaporation in our bodies of water, the result could be a combination of LPA, which would increase the storm's capability tenfold, which would also result in the increase of destruction on the path of the storm. This case we can use as an example is the Super Typhoon Haiyan, or most commonly known as Yolanda in the Philippines, which started as a low pressure area but intensified quickly in just days. We can do help to reduce this if we can help in decreasing daily activities that result in the thickening of our greenhouse gas. Another is to use less and conserve energy to decrease the rate of usage of fossil fuels. We could also use eco-friendly materials that are not harmful to the environment, like less usage of plastic. Humanity has been given this planet to care for it, to nurture it, to protect it, but instead we destroy everything. We use our brains not for the benefit of others or the environment, but for the benefit of our selfish needs. If we do not do something about our mistakes, by my predictions in the year 2030, it would be hard to live in the surface of the earth because of what we did not do. But if we answer the call of Pope Francis to care for our common home, we can experience a world that does not require our adaptation to the changes it would do. Because if we take care of our planet, nothing bad is going to happen. Perhaps something would change, but we can be sure that it would be for the greater good of everyone. Change is the only constant thing in this world. The rest is up to you, us, everyone, whether to make the change for the good or for the bad of everyone. Remember, we all have a part in this. Our actions can be our future. We help in the excavation of our own graves, since we were the ones that help in the creation of our problems. We experience also the hardships it may bring in our lives. We all have the power to stop the cycle of never-ending destruction. We all have the power to change the world. It's your choice to create or to destroy. That's your decision. So make your choice.